Welcome, fellow seekers of the macabre, to a world where shadows whisper secrets and nightmares take shape. I am your guide through the chilling realms of true crime, where we unveil the dark tales of notorious serial killers. But fear not, for our journey serves a purpose beyond mere fright. As the night deepens and sleep eludes many, our stories become a soothing balm for troubled minds. With a delicate balance of intrigue and tranquility, we offer narratives that both captivate and lull you into a peaceful slumber. I am your narrator, your storyteller in the dark, here to guide you through the darkest corridors of human darkness, while also providing respite and solace. So, as we step into the abyss together, remember that our tales serve not only to chill, but to bring calm to restless nights. Welcome to a realm where monsters are real, but where the power of story can help you find tranquility in the face of darkness. Brace yourself for the horrors that lie ahead, and prepare to drift into a peaceful sleep, if you dare.
Once upon a time, in the fog-shrouded streets of Victorian London, a malevolent shadow lurked, striking fear into the hearts of all. The name whispered in hushed tones was none other than Jack the Ripper, a figure steeped in darkness and mystery. In the year 1888, the city was gripped by terror as the Ripper's gruesome acts unfolded. Women of the night became his prey, their lives cruelly snuffed out, leaving a trail of blood-soaked cobblestones in his wake. The Ripper's presence cast a pall over the city, transforming its once vibrant streets into a chilling landscape of fear and suspicion. Among the citizens haunted by the Ripper's reign of terror was Detective Jonathan Harris. With each mutilated victim, his determination grew, fueled by a burning desire to bring this fiend to justice. Night after night, he patrolled the streets, seeking any clue that could lead him to the elusive killer. But the Ripper, like a phantom, seemed to elude capture at every turn. His crimes were executed with surgical precision, leaving behind no trace of evidence. The city grew restless, its denizens trapped in a state of perpetual fear. One moonlit evening, as the city slept under a blanket of unease, Detective Harris found himself standing amidst the eerie silence of an alleyway. The flickering gas lamps cast long shadows, creating a chilling ambience that matched the detective's growing apprehension. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, a silhouette cloaked in darkness. It was the Ripper himself, his eyes burning with a malevolent intensity. "You will never catch me, detective," he hissed, his voice laced with a sadistic delight. "I am the shadow that eludes your grasp." Undeterred, Detective Harris lunged forward, his resolve unyielding. A violent struggle ensued, the Ripper's blade gleaming ominously in the dim light. The echoes of their clash reverberated through the desolate alley, each strike carrying the weight of life and death. Finally, with a final, desperate blow, Detective Harris disarmed the Ripper, bringing him to his knees. "It ends here, Jack," he declared, his voice laced with a mixture of triumph and exhaustion. "Your reign of terror comes to a close." But as the detective glanced up, he found himself staring into empty space. The Ripper had vanished, leaving behind only a chilling laughter that seemed to echo through the cold night air. It was a laughter that mocked the very notion of justice, and revealed the true depths of the Ripper's demonic nature. Years passed, and the case of Jack the Ripper remained unsolved, his identity forever enshrouded in mystery. Detective Harris retired, haunted by the memory of the fiend who had slipped through his fingers. The legend of the Ripper persisted, his name etched into the annals of horror, a specter that continued to plague the city even in death. The Ripper's story transcended time, captivating the imaginations of countless individuals throughout history. Scholars and armchair detectives alike delved into the chilling details, piecing together theories and suspects. Each new revelation sparked debate and speculation, but the true identity of the Ripper remained an enigma that defied resolution. To this day, the story of Jack the Ripper sends shivers down the spines of those who dare to delve into the chilling depths of his crimes. The streets of Victorian London hold the lingering echoes of his evil deeds, a reminder that even in the most civilized of societies, darkness can take hold. So, beware, dear listeners, for the spirit of Jack the Ripper still lingers, waiting to prey upon the unsuspecting. Let his tale serve as a cautionary reminder that evil can thrive in the shadows, and that the darkness within the human soul can manifest in the most terrifying ways imaginable. As we conclude this bone-chilling journey, remember to subscribe to our channel for more thrilling tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Your support fuels our passion for storytelling, and it helps us bring you more spine-tingling content on a regular basis. So, until next time, may you tread carefully through the haunted corridors of history, and may your dreams be free from the clutches of the Ripper's malevolence. This is Creepy Horse, signing off, but always lurking in the shadows, waiting to share another terrifying tale with you. In the quiet suburbs of Milwaukee, an evil presence resided, hidden behind the facade of an unassuming apartment. His name was Jeffrey Dahmer, a man whose dark desires would unleash a reign of terror upon the unsuspecting city. Within the walls of his apartment, Dahmer carried out his grotesque fantasies, luring young men with promises of companionship and shelter. Once in his grasp, they became prisoners of his twisted desires, destined for a fate too horrifying to comprehend. Dahmer's lair was filled with the stench of decay, as lifeless bodies lay strewn about like macabre art installations. Driven by his insatiable hunger, he indulged in unspeakable acts of violence, mutilating his victims and preserving their remains as grotesque trophies. The fear within the community grew, as whispers of missing young men circulated. But the true extent of Dahmer's depravity remained hidden, carefully concealed from the prying eyes of law enforcement. Detective Sarah Lawson, a relentless investigator known for her unwavering determination, became fixated on unraveling the mystery behind the disappearances. Day and night, she tirelessly pieced together the fragments of evidence, determined to bring the sadistic predator to justice. With each victim, Dahmer became bolder, his insatiable appetite for destruction leading him down a path of increasingly savage acts. The walls of his apartment seemed to close in, tainted with the echoes of his victims' screams. One fateful evening, Lawson received a tip that led her to Doma's door. Armed with a search warrant, she entered the apartment, the weight of apprehension heavy upon her shoulders. As she explored the dimly lit rooms, the walls seemed to close in, the air thick with the lingering presence of evil. Suddenly, a noise broke the silence, a muffled cry for help emanating from the depths of the apartment. Lawson followed the sound, her heart pounding in her chest. And there, in the depths of Doma's hellish domain, she discovered a young man, bound and desperate for salvation. With steady hands, Lawson freed the terrified victim, leading him to safety. But as they made their way to the exit, the apartment seemed to come alive, the walls pulsating with an otherworldly energy. Doma appeared, his eyes glinting with a malevolence that sent shivers down Lawson's spine. A desperate struggle ensued, Lawson fighting to protect herself and the survivor from the clutches of this monstrous predator. The apartment became a battleground of darkness and desperation, as Doma's demonic strength seemed to defy comprehension. In a final, desperate act, Lawson managed to break free from Doma's grasp. As she reached for her weapon, a single gunshot shattered the eerie stillness, echoing through the halls of the apartment building. Doma fell to the ground, his reign of terror finally brought to an end. But the horror of Doma's crimes would forever haunt the memories of those touched by his malevolence. The community grappled with the realization that such darkness could lurk behind the most ordinary facades, forever altering their sense of safety. As for Detective Lawson, she emerged from the darkness forever changed. The harrowing encounter left an indelible mark on her soul, a reminder of the depths of human depravity she had witnessed firsthand. The story of Jeffrey Dahmer serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside within the human psyche, a stark cautionary tale about the monsters that walk among us. May it forever serve as a reminder to be vigilant and protect one another from the terrors that lie in wait. Please note that this is a fictionalized account inspired by the crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer. The accuracy of specific events may vary from the actual historical record. In the quiet town of Hyde, nestled amidst the serene English countryside, a trusted doctor named Harold Shipman walked the streets with an air of respectability. He was hailed as a pillar of the community, a healer who had dedicated his life to easing the pain and suffering of his patients. But behind his pleasant smile and calm demeanor, a darkness festered. Shipman's descent into the abyss of terror began gradually, a gradual corruption of his moral compass. He possessed an insatiable hunger for power and control, finding solace in the medical profession, where he held the lives of his patients in his hands. As Shipman's reputation grew, so did his malevolent desires. He became adept at crafting an illusion of trust, drawing his victims into his web with charm and false compassion. They believed him to be their savior, unaware of the monstrous intent hidden beneath his gentle touch. One by one, his patients began to succumb to mysterious and untimely deaths. Shipman wielded his knowledge and authority with chilling precision, administering lethal doses of medication under the guise of providing comfort and relief. The lethal cocktails he concocted allowed him to exert control over life and death, extinguishing lives with calculated efficiency. The families of his victims were left reeling, their lives shattered by the sudden loss. The grief was overwhelming, but the true horror lay in the realization that their loved ones had met their demise at the hands of the trusted doctor they had held in such high regard. Shipman's method of deception was meticulous. He manipulated medical records, altering cause of death entries to hide his sinister handiwork. The bodies of his victims were treated as nothing more than pawns in his macabre game of power, coldly disposed of, leaving no trace of his insidious acts. As the list of victims grew, whispers of suspicion began to ripple through the community. Concerned family members, troubled by the unusually high mortality rate surrounding Shipman's practice, began to question the inexplicable deaths. Colleagues, too, began to harbor doubts, their skepticism gnawing at the edges of their conscience. Enter Detective Emily Lawson, a tenacious investigator renowned for her unwavering pursuit of justice. Sensing a malevolent presence beneath the town's tranquil surface, she delved deep into the twisted web of deceit that Shipman had spun. Day and night, she pored over medical records, interviewed grieving families, and sought to piece together the fragments of a puzzle stained with blood. As Detective Lawson painstakingly unraveled the threads of Shipman's web, the true extent of his depravity came to light. The sheer number of lives he had extinguished was staggering, sending shockwaves through the town. The once unquestioned trust in the medical profession shattered, replaced by a haunting fear that lurked within the shadows. At long last, the day of reckoning arrived. Shipman stood before the court, his facade of respectability crumbling under the weight of irrefutable evidence. The trial was a chilling spectacle, the courtroom steeped in an atmosphere of dread as the prosecution unveiled the horrors perpetrated by this trusted healer turned sadistic killer. One by one, the victims' stories were recounted, a tapestry of lives stolen, dreams shattered, and families torn apart. Each revelation pierced the hearts of those in attendance, the magnitude of Shipman's heinous acts becoming increasingly unbearable to witness. The judge's voice resonated through the courtroom, the final verdict proclaiming Shipman's guilt. Life imprisonment. The town collectively exhaled, a mixture of relief and sorrow washing over them. The monster had been contained, his reign of terror cut short, but the scars he left behind would forever mar their souls. The story of Harold Shipman is a chilling testament to the darkness that can reside within the human psyche. It serves as a haunting reminder that evil can wear the most benign mask, lurking in the shadows where trust and vulnerability converge. May the victims find solace in the knowledge that their stories have been told, their lives and untimely deaths forever etched into the annals of history. And may their memory serve as a poignant reminder to remain vigilant, to question even the most trusted figures, for the sinister can reside in the most unexpected places. Please note that this is a fictionalized account inspired by the events surrounding Harold Shipman. The accuracy of specific events may vary from the actual historical record. In the quiet town of Florida, a sinister darkness loomed, casting a shadow over the unsuspecting residents. Eileen Wuornos, a tormented soul with a tragic past, would become the embodiment of terror, leaving a trail of fear and bloodshed in her wake. Born into a world of chaos and abuse, Wuornos's early years were marked by unspeakable horrors. The scars etched upon her psyche would shape her into a haunted figure, destined to walk a treacherous path. As the years passed, her troubled journey would lead her down a nightmarish road. Between 1989 and 1990, Florida became a hunting ground, and Wuornos, the predator lurking within. Her targets were unsuspecting men, lured by false promises and her beguiling charm. Little did they know, their encounters would be their last. The moonlit nights became a backdrop for her savage acts. Each victim fell prey to her wrath, their lives extinguished in chilling fashion. The darkness seemed to consume Wuornos, unleashing a feral instinct that reveled in the terror she inflicted upon her victims. The town was gripped with fear as whispers of a serial killer circulated. The once tranquil streets became haunted by a palpable sense of dread. Every shadow seemed to harbor the malevolence that emanated from Wuornos' soul. As the body count rose, the authorities found themselves caught in a race against time. The investigation into Wuornos' atrocities became a desperate quest for justice. The community demanded answers, yearning for an end to the reign of terror that had paralyzed their lives. The courtroom became a stage where the macabre drama of Wuornos' life unfolded. The proceedings were fraught with tension, as the details of her heinous crimes were laid bare for all to witness. The victims' families, their eyes filled with sorrow and anger, sought solace in the pursuit of justice. Psychological evaluations attempted to dissect the twisted mind of Wuornos, seeking to understand the depths of her depravity. They revealed a tortured soul, scarred by a lifetime of pain and betrayal. Yet, they offered no absolution for the horrors she had inflicted upon her victims. The public, ensnared in a morbid fascination, watched the trial unfold with bated breath. The media frenzy surrounding Wuornos's case transformed her into a haunting figure of fascination and repulsion. The dichotomy between the monster she had become and the vulnerable woman she once was became a topic of endless speculation. And finally, as the gavel struck its decisive blow, the echoes reverberated through the courtroom, sealing Wuornos's fate. She was found guilty of her crimes, and the weight of justice descended upon her shoulders. It was a moment of closure for the community, a glimmer of hope that they could begin to heal. The story of Aileen Wuornos serves as a chilling reminder of the thin line that separates the depths of despair from the darkness of evil. It urges us to examine the societal failures and the systemic neglect that can push individuals to the brink of madness. It demands that we confront the demons that lurk within, both as individuals and as a society, to prevent such tragedies from unfolding again. May the victims find solace in the knowledge that their stories have been heard, their lives acknowledged. May their memory serve as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a call to foster compassion, understanding, and support for those who are teetering on the precipice of despair. Please note that this is a fictionalized account inspired by the events surrounding Aileen Wuornos. The accuracy of specific events may vary from the actual historical record. In the chilling depths of the 1980s, a haunting chapter unfolded in the story of Ted Bundy, leaving a trail of terror in its wake. As Bundy languished on death row, the world held its breath, knowing that within the confines of his twisted mind lay the secrets to countless lives brutally extinguished. One ominous evening, deep within the grim walls of the Florida State Prison, the atmosphere grew heavy with anticipation. It was January 24, 1989, and the fateful hour approached when Bundy would face his final reckoning. As the world awaited his imminent execution, an unsettling event transpired that would forever be etched in the annals of true crime history, the 11th hour confession. Detective Robert Keppel, the tenacious investigator, who had tirelessly pursued Bundy throughout his trial, found himself drawn back to the darkness. An unexpected summons had reached him, a message from the very heart of evil itself, a request for a final conversation with the man who had terrorized the nation. Keppel, a seasoned veteran of the grisly trade, steeled himself as he entered the prison's gloomy confines. The air grew thick with the weight of foreboding, as if the very walls of the institution held their breath, aware of the dark secrets about to be unveiled. Bundy, clad in the monotony of death row attire, sat shackled, a glint of cold calculation in his eyes. The room crackled with an eerie energy as the detective and the killer locked eyes. The silence was broken by Bundy's voice, a chilling symphony of calmness that seemed incongruous with the horrors he had perpetrated. He spoke of his victims, each name a haunting refrain that echoed through the room, a grim litany of lives extinguished by his malevolence. As the night wore on, the conversation delved into the depths of Bundy's mind, a labyrinthine maze of depravity and manipulation. With each chilling detail he revealed, Keppel felt the darkness close in around him. It was as if the walls themselves absorbed the echoes of Bundy's confessions, absorbing the malevolence that seeped from his every word. Time seemed to stretch, the room freezing in an eternal moment, the weight of Bundy's atrocities pressing upon their souls. Keppel struggled to maintain his composure, wrestling with the horrors he was forced to confront. The line between hunter and hunted blurred, as if Bundy's ghostly presence extended beyond the confines of his physical form. In those macabre hours, the truth emerged, painting a portrait of a serial killer who reveled in the power he wielded over his victims. The chilling calmness with which Bundy recounted his deeds was an embodiment of the darkest depths of human nature, a reminder that true evil can masquerade beneath a veneer of normalcy. As the conversation drew to a close, the room seemed to exhale a collective sigh of relief. Bundy's words lingered, like a specter haunting the memories of all those who bore witness to his twisted tale. The 11th hour confession left an indelible mark on the minds of those who had faced the devil himself, a testament to the depths of human depravity and the resilience of those who fought against it. And so, as the final hour approached, the world grappled with the aftermath of Bundy's revelation. It served as a chilling reminder that evil can exist in the most unassuming of forms, urging society to remain vigilant, to protect the vulnerable, and to ensure that the echoes of Bundy's heinous acts serve as a call to action against the darkness that lurks within our midst. Thus, the 11th hour confession stands as a haunting testament to the indomitable human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of unspeakable horrors, we must confront evil, seek justice for the fallen, and strive to prevent the birth of new nightmares. In the end, it is through the strength of the human spirit and unwavering determination that we can emerge from the shadow cast by such monstrous figures, bringing light to the darkest corners of our world.
As we conclude this bone-chilling journey into the darkest corners of human history, we hope you've been both captivated and appropriately unnerved by these true stories of notorious serial killers. Their chilling tales serve as a haunting reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink. If you enjoyed this video and want to support our channel, we kindly ask you to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. By doing so, you'll stay updated with our latest uploads and ensure that more people discover these spine-tingling stories. Remember, the darkness thrives in the shadows, but together, we can shine a light upon it. Thank you for joining us on this terrifying adventure, and until next time, may you find solace in the light, knowing that evil, though it may exist, can also be confronted and conquered. Sleep tight, if you dare.